very excited to share with you that over the last year, I've recorded my first original album.
Woo! Wow! Wow! I got the poop out over my phone.
In working on creating my first original album, we're gonna discuss a couple topics. My transition from writing video scores, soundtracks, etc. to writing original music. I'm gonna show you guys some of the music that I've been working on and show you some of the breakdowns of all the tracks and different parts that go into a song. For the last year, I have spent a lot of my time working on creating original music, and that's been very difficult for me because for most of my life, all the music I've written and worked on has always been tied to a video. Soundtracks, scores, etc. Our earlier videos, I scored the music for every single one. I thought I would be able to take that experience and bring that over to making an original work. But I found that actually it is a night and day experience. When you're working with a video, the video dictates the flow and the dynamics and everything. You're just filling in the blanks. Now that I've lost that video track and I've made an original album, I've realized, wait a second, I've got to reinvent completely how I approach writing music. Without a video track to guide me, I think to myself, okay, where do you start? How do you write a song? Songs have so many parts. How do you put it all together? After writing all the songs, after kind of completing them all, I've realized that they all have one thing in common, and I feel like this could help other musicians out there to kind of focus in on how their music process works and maybe even make songwriting easier for them. For me, songwriting always starts with a single musical idea. You're playing guitar one day, and you're like, oh, wow, I can maybe make a song out of that. Let me play it again, maybe make it better. You're like, ooh, that's nice, that's spicy. That's exactly what you want to get to. The moment you've written one little thing, you're like, oh, that sounds great. That means you have enough to write an entire song. So I take that first part that I wrote that I liked, and I let go of it, and I take it and I kind of put it in front of me like a carrot on a stick. It's baiting me, it's motivating me to work towards it, push it off into the distance. That's my chorus. And to get there, I need to write these stepping stones that get me to that chorus. So knowing that this will be my chorus someday, whenever I can write the rest of the song, I think, okay, well, I gotta start somewhere. It probably should be simple. You start just playing around. And ideally, you're thinking, okay, well, someday I'm gonna have to get back to that really cool part I wrote. And you're thinking like, it's like, it doesn't have to be complicated. You just need to have it in the back of your mind that you will eventually get back to that cool part that you wrote and use it as motivation to get through the whole song. And so ideally, after playing around and thinking about that for a while, that's generally when you come up with what I would call the verse of your song. But songs need more than like two good parts, in my opinion. I try and bridge the gap. So I've taken my simple part, and I know what we're going back to, so I need to find out one more thing to connect the two. Still simple. But I know still, once again, in the back of my mind, I know where I'm going, and I'm trying to get there. I don't know how yet. I think I need one more chord. Because this is the hard part. Because songwriting is like 80% inspiration and then 20% engineering. And I've used up all my engineering, and now I've got all these different parts that I have to somehow connect together and make them flow, and that's where the engineering comes in. This is where the experience of being a musician for a few years and learning how to play guitar and piano starts coming in, because you're like, how do I get this to this chord? The Animojis on the iPhone X are super cool because it basically gives everyone facial tracking in their pocket. The models they've designed, rigged up, are just They're excellent. They're very expressive. We've decided to make a video using these, taking clips from our favorite shows and putting them together, and we are going to act out the scenes using Animojis and then composite them back into the scene. This isn't the most novel concept. Other people have dabbled. We approach it a little bit differently. I would try and find something that kind of references animals frequently, so that way when we actually replace a monkey or a dog or a cat head in the scene, it starts becoming a little self-referential, and actually they literally are dogs or they literally are cats. So we have a scene from The Wire.
So, Cheese, who's your dog? My dog.
And then you throw a dog in that scene and it gets really goofy.
I'm going through and I'm working on this Chris Pratt scene here where he's talking about wiping, right? So obviously we gotta put the poop emoji there. But here's the thing about the poop emoji is that it's a triangle. So for most of the shots, what we're trying to do is we're trying to just entirely block the person's head with the emoji, but because the emoji is a triangle, what happens is that Chris Pratt's forehead protrudes on either side of this emoji here. So what I ended up having to do, I painted out his face. That's all basically tracked in. I've removed just the top of his head from the shot, and the tracking is decent enough. It works. So now that I've established that, let me go back to the main comp and show you what's so funny about this. To get the Animoji tracked into the shot, I just tracked Chris Pratt's tie here, and that's a pretty good tracking marker because it's visible throughout the entire shot, except for the end when Chris Pratt goes to like scratch his nose, his hand goes right in front of that, so the tracking suddenly tracks his hand. So what happens is that he's going along, he sniffs it and then brings his head down. It's like pulling off a mask to reveal you have no head. I just thought it was kind of funny because it's completely unintentional and it's not going to be in the final video at all. So that's a sneak peek of behind the scenes on this whole process.
So I'm gonna show you guys how I've been able to take a small song that I write on an acoustic guitar and transfer that over to a full setup that includes bass, drums, electric guitar, and everything, kind of filling it out. So how do I take this and make it sound like this? Let's do it. The way I always start my songs here is by recording the original inspiration for it. Whether I'm going to play the song eventually on an electric guitar or an acoustic, it doesn't matter. I spitball, so I get that first track in there. I got my second section in there. So now that's recorded. Generally, I like to go to two instruments after this. Either I go to the drums first or I go to the bass first because they both play a very similar role. They both include the low end and the rhythmic qualities of your song because it's ultimately that bass and snare or your actual like bass guitar boom 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 that like determine the rhythm and that kind of underneath feeling and the flow of your song. I'd do drums next because I think that's going to influence the rhythm of the song a little bit more. I'll fix the mistakes later. You do it rough, it doesn't matter, it's a keyboard. It takes all your MIDI strokes and then you quantize them all and they snap into place. I'm not a real drummer, but I don't care. Decent, right? With the acoustic guitar. All right. The groove is starting. Time for bass guitar. So, this video is finally starting to get very tedious.
You ready for it to be over?
Oh yeah, I can't wait. The Animojis have limitations. The Animojis have limitations. Look, there's some incredible motion capture put into these phones. However, because of the selection of scenes we've chosen, we're hitting the limitations of what's possible with these Animojis. They're very expressive, but don't capture certain human subtleties that you see in an actual performance or an actual emotion. We've been kind of bumping up it a little bit in certain scenes, but there is one scene that two characters kind of flirting with each other, and Animojis are not made for flirting. Unfortunately, we only just found that out now. Nuke those subtle emotions and change the scene's direction entirely. It'll be all right. Right?
I put an entire day's worth of work into all that.
Okay.
And it's fine, I'm gonna redo it. Because that's what you're asking for, so it's fine.
I don't think it'll be as laborious as you had.
What's up, my dude? My dude!
Back to work.
I'm sorry, and you are?
Billy. Billy Hart.
We're just watching Man's Not Hot for the first time.
What?
Mum's never hot.
Sorry, Sam, I'm ruining your productivity.
Yep. Once we have all the clips edited, we're gonna have the effects in them. We're gonna take them, chop them up, do one last pass, one last quality pass to make sure everything's good, it's tight, it's funny, flows. Gotta figure out a bass line for this. It's easy to do bass lines because you just listen to your drums, the bassist and the drummer kind of like lock eyes. You go like, yeah, we got this. That's how you write a bass line. Something like that. We have bass, we have drums, we have acoustic. How is it sounding? Yeah. It's sounding pretty good. It's sounding very full. It's sounding very rich. It's getting wider and bigger. So I've also recorded some electric guitar to kind of double up on what the acoustic's playing here. And that's just gonna make the guitar even bigger now. But this is mostly an instrumental album that needs a melody, something people can listen to and latch on to. Let's write a melody for this. That's everything all together. You have your drums, you have your bass, you have your acoustic, you have your lead, you have your melodies, it's all there, and that's what creates that rich sound. It's all about that additive process. You know, you start with that little acoustic guitar line in the bottom there, and you just keep stacking and building and building. It's been over a year since I started working on this album, and I think it turned out pretty dang well. I've got 11 tracks that are all tracked and completed, and they're being mixed and mastered right now. And what's even better is that you can hear samples from 2 of them right now. Go check those out. So if you like it, leave a comment in this video or on the track itself. Also, I want to give a huge thanks to Casey Edwards for mixing and mastering all this stuff with me. His cinematic sense of songwriting and mixing has gone a long way in making these things sounding really cool. It's been a super big year here at Quarto Digital and the Sam and Nico channel. You've seen a huge transformation in our content and the way we operate. So this is the last video of the year until we all come back and get to work. I just want to say thanks for just sticking around, guys, and like watching these videos and commenting and being involved with our day-to-day lives, because it means a ton for us. And
You subscribe.
hope you subscribed. Hope you subscribed, because this is your last chance to subscribe until before the year's up.
Shut it down for the last time. It's good to hang out with you on my last day, Nick. Looks like we're the only ones left, so we're responsible for locking it up. Is there anything else we gotta turn off? I think that's about it, right?